All right, now it's posting.
Perfect.
Right. Come on, where is it? Yep, okay, it's rolling.
Perfect. Are we live?
We are live.
All right, live from, well, for me, Schenectady, New York.
Keep keep it up on my phone here just so I can keep track of any comments. Well, that was an adventure.
You got there, you know?
I eventually got there. Posted on the wrong page, but now it's on the right page, and I would like to blame it on the beer, but I'm only opened my second one, so this is just technology insufficiency. I'll call
So sometimes things happen like that.
it. Does
We all have technical difficulties once in a while.
technical difficulties is a yeah that's the great that's the perfect term for it.
Yep, nothing in life is perfect.
No. So, welcome everyone to Stories from a Virtual Bar live. I think it's also my 40th episode when I go to post the audio for this. I, of course, am the host, Chris Osborne. For this episode, I'm hanging out with Tim Walton. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, man. Good. We
Good.
were chatting a little bit as I was trying to get this to post correctly. It's nice to finally chat somewhat in person here, albeit virtually.
Agreed. Yeah, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
No, man. I'm happy you could do it. Like I said, I've uh, obviously I'm a member of all the 518 groups. I started following your Tim's Kitchen blog a while back. My buddy Aaron's already joined the chat, buddy. Hey, how are you going, friend? But yeah, so I'm glad we could find 40th episode. Oh, awesome. Thanks, buddy. Yeah. Man, oh man, is there a lot we can talk about? So I'm happy you could be here.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thank you again for having me.
Absolutely. Before we really get into anything, though, what are you drinking, friend?
I am drinking a artisanal BB brown ale.
Nice. I almost grabbed an artisanal myself. I've got the bottom shelf in my fridge is all lined up with artisanals, but I went and I grabbed my last Whitman Brewing up in Saratoga. Uh,
Nice. I
I can
haven't
hear
tried their
America
beer yet.
singing. I can hear America singing New England IPA.
Awesome.
It's delicious. It's the first. It's actually the first beer of theirs I've had, and it's delightful. So I'm glad I stumbled across that. I haven't had a chance to get up to the brewery. I actually found that what's the beverage center in Albany? I can't think of the name. Not Westmere. Stopped at Westmere and they had it, so I had to grab it as I was there for like a half hour trying to make a difficult decision because there's just so many beers.
Yeah, I often when I do go to beverage centers, I plan on going in for to grab something quick, and I'm like, oh, there's this or there's that. So hard to decide. There's so many good beers.
There is, man. It's we live in a great area with a great local selection, and then you throw in other New York State beers in this one bill. I'm like, holy crap! I've been here for a half hour and I still haven't picked anything. But I got to say, you're the reason I'm doing my day drinking today. So thanks
Okay,
for that.
no problem.
If we weren't doing this so early in the afternoon, I probably wouldn't have started until at least dinner time.
Hey, if I can give you an excuse to drink, so be it.
Absolutely.
I'm doing a good deed.
Well, that's what I'll call it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, well, I've dialed back the going out the past few months and things like that because of COVID and everything. My girlfriend has asthma, so I don't want to take the risk being out there. Plus, I still go to work 4 to 5 days a week. I'm honestly pretty shocked our paths have never crossed when I was going out, because you seem like you're all over the place, all over the place, man, or at least have been.
Yeah, I have been all over the place, but I personally had to scale it back myself. One, because of COVID, and two, it just catches up to you. You do so much, and you're busy all the time. You easily get tired out, burned out, and plus, I'm trying to focus a lot of my energy on my business that I started, which is very important. You know, it's my baby, so I
Oh
have
yeah.
to prioritize it. It's how I make a living.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm looking forward to chatting about that as well. You got man, like I said, man, a lot of stuff going on. Like I said, this is only my second time streaming, so I'm still trying to get this down, and I want to do it more because I have every other Friday off. So I kind of want to start being productive on these 3-day weekends. So I'm going to start trying to put out something or do something like twice a month. And I'm thinking as I do this, because my camera looks grainy, because I just use the laptop camera. If I'm going to start doing more, I should probably invest in a better camera.
Yeah, that would help for sure.
And a buddy of mine, my buddy Aaron, has yeah, thanks Aaron. I did get a haircut. I'm not happy with it, but it was time. I had some long hair, and the winter dry static was just causing it to go all over the place, and I couldn't take it anymore. And then I go into the barber shop, and I don't know why they bother asking me what I want, because they just ignore the words that come out of my mouth afterwards, and then just kind of take it upon themselves to, okay, clip all the way up the side. Oh, so that's how my haircut experiences usually roll.
Now, do you have a regular barbershop that you go to, or a barber that
No,
you
I don't.
consistently
No,
go
I
to?
generally go to a handful of different places, the same places. It depends where I am during the day. I don't mind calling to make an appointment, but they usually only do the same day appointments now,
Okay.
which because I tried to make one the day before at the place I wanted to go, and they're like, "Well, we only do same day appointments." I'm like, all right, I guess so I'll have to try someplace else tomorrow. So I ended up going there, but I'm like, whatever, it'll grow back.
Right.
I'm drinking to ease the pain. Start going to a black barber shop. My friend Aaron says I could try that. I don't know. That would
Yeah,
be
yeah. Shout out to a high profile barbershop, my man Dwayne, Broadway, Schenectady.
Broadway in
It's
Schenectady.
Yeah, actually, Dwayne has been cutting my hair since I was 16 years old, off and
Oh
on for
wow.
the most part of my life, um, ever since I was a teenager. And he's my regular barbershop that I go to. He owns it, and all I have to do is sit down, and he knows what to do.
I'll have to try them out next time, I think. Yeah, because I'm not usually. So I'll end up at like, a Supercuts or something like that just to try to get it out of the way, more out of convenience. But maybe I should check out Dwayne.
Yeah, yeah. I'll send you his information after the podcast.
Yeah, well, I think it's going to be a little while before I need another haircut now. But yeah, that would be great. Well, yeah. So I think I'm gonna, with my Fridays off, start doing a little more of the podcast. I'm gonna look into getting a better camera. Mine's a little grainy, but it also might cut into my video and game and reading time. So I don't know. We'll see how this goes. We'll see how long I can stick with it. But this is the second stream I've done. The first one was great. I did it with a local musician, Josh Casano. Got a
Oh, I
lot
love
of,
Josh. Josh is
yeah,
awesome.
super cool guy.
Yeah.
For anyone that hasn't checked him out, definitely go check out his tunes. But I was just in the week I had the video posted, it had over 300 views. So I'm like, that's awesome. I got to keep doing more of this. Like, okay. And I could do it from home, which is the best part.
Yeah, that's wonderful. You have that freedom to be at home.
Yeah.
And if
So,
and you it sound like you really love doing it. So if you have a passion for something, just keep going at it. When you have time and your free time, and just live and breathe it for a while, and see where it
yeah,
takes you.
yeah, man. I'm coming up on 3 years doing this. It'll be 3 years in April. I'm trying to put a little virtual party of some kind together. I've got some new marketing, some new logos that I'm working on having made. So I'm looking forward to that plans. But when I started out, I'm like, and I'm thinking of what I wanted to do. I'm like, I like drinking beer and talking to people. That's pretty much it. So I'm like, well, that seems like the perfect idea to base a podcast on. And it's great because I love going to all the local places. I love trying new beers all the time. So it gives me a chance to learn a little bit about them, and it gives the brewers and the people in the industry their opportunity to really talk. It's not just a 10-second news clip or a highlight in the news. I'll sit there I'll sit down with them for like an hour and we chat. My favorite is when I can really get them talking. So I just sit there and drink and let them run with it.
Smart man. All
I
right.
know,
Yeah.
man. I know.
It's like the show makes itself after a while.
Yeah, man. That's always the hope. But it's been fun. I've gotten a great response. People are always, of course, happy to talk, and I'm always, of course, happy to. I think of it as a win-win. I get to, taste all these beers, learn about them, and help promote local businesses. So it's been great for me. And one of the reasons you admire a lot of the stuff you do, you're super into promoting all the local places around the 518 and things like that. Like I started, of course, following your blog, Tim's Kitchen, a while ago when that was
Right.
going on. You're born and raised in Schenectady, right?
Yeah, born and raised in Schenectady, third generation Schenectadian. My grandmother moved here in the late 1920s, and they're originally from the Middleburg Skenevis area,
Oh,
back
wow.
from the 1800s. So I have a lot of local roots here.
Nice. I'm from the area myself. I lived in South Carolina for 5 years between ages 15 and 20 and then came back. So I've been back 15, 17 years, somewhere like that now.
Okay.
So yeah,
I've never moved
Schenectady.
away myself, but I've traveled a lot, and I want
Mm,
to continue doing that. That's my ultimate goal, is to travel some more and off and on. And there's just so many places to see, and life is so short. You have to do it, and you'll create memories and stories that will last forever. Nothing
yeah,
can
man.
replace that.
I'm hopefully we get back to a place late this year with enough vaccines and coming out and everything like that where, the traveling really opens up because I can see everyone making their bucket list now for a post-COVID travel plan, trying to knock out everything they can. Hopefully, if we take anything away from this whole pandemic, it's to live life to its fullest and really do what we want to do. That's what I'm love to see more people, following their passions and things like that after this.
Right. I totally agree with you.
But yeah, I'm on my second beer today, and it's going to be a long day. I'm recording another movie podcast or a movie podcast tonight with some buddies. We do popcorn and pints. I don't know if you've seen me post about that, but we'll be drinking and
No.
talking about Step Brothers tonight,
Haha,
the Will
cool.
Ferrell movie.
That sounds
Yeah,
like a
it's
fun
great.
podcast.
It's
Yeah.
fun. Life in quarantine, cutting back, going out other than to work or the store, looking for few more hobbies to do. So we started up a new movie podcast, Popcorn and Pints. It's part of the Z Network. We created just a network for content creators by content creators. So for anyone looking to do something at 9 o'clock tonight and most Saturdays, check out Popcorn and Pints. Like I said, I'm day drinking now, so who knows what condition I'll be in tonight. But luckily, my couch is 10 feet away and I don't have to go anywhere to do it. But let's talk about you, man. First
Okay.
off, like I mentioned, Tim's New York Kitchen was a great blog. So many awesome recipes and food pictures and stuff on there. Did you want to be a chef? How did you end up starting that?
So I've always been cooking ever since I was young. My mother, my grandmother taught me, and family members. I have a huge family, and family is very important to me. And I was raised in a house with my grandmother, and she lived in the home. And everybody, like all the Keystone family members, would congregate at my home to visit my grandmother because she was disabled, so she couldn't get out of the house. So everybody would come to see us, and I was lucky to develop so many relationships, um, strong relationships with family members, and in turn learned bits and pieces from everyone. And also, I grew up in a very diverse neighborhood, and I would go to people's homes to eat. I'll say, "Who? How'd you make this?" or "How'd you make that?" Or I would ask questions, and I was always I always admired different cultures and different backgrounds, different flavors. So cooking was a passion for me since I was very young, and then I just stumbled upon IG, and I was like, you know what? I'll start posting recipes. So I started making recipes. Actually, I first started posting them to my Facebook page, my personal Facebook page, and then I was like, all right, I'm getting used to this. So I started doing it on IG, and then after that, I started to travel a lot. And because I had a lot of vacation time with my former job, I used to work for Proctor's. And in my travel time, I would link up with different foodies across the country. And I would put a post out on Instagram and said, "Hey, I'm coming to this city. Hashtag those cities, and say who wants to meet up." And I would meet up with foodies all across the country, and
Nice.
I learned a little bit from each and every one of them, and I brought it back home.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. And I plan on continuing Tim's Near Kitchen soon, after all my other social media stuff is balanced. And so expect a major comeback. Don't call it a comeback, as
Don't
LL
call
Cool
it a
J.
comeback.
Yep, LL Cool J would say.
You are, yeah, like I said, I followed Tim's Kitchen for a while once I first stumbled across it. And then we became Facebook friends. And then these
Yep.
518 groups started popping up all over the place. It seemed like, um, particularly 518 Brews, which we'll get into in a bit. But I'm
Okay.
watching all these pop up and watching them kind of explode. I'm like, this, you seem like one of the busiest social media people I have ever seen.
uh, yes, I am busy. I'm not gonna lie, but to me, it's worth it to invest the time now and to invest the energy now, so I can do what I love later. I'm already doing what I love. Yes, I'm exhausted some days, but I'm doing what I love, and this is me laying the foundation to continue to do that. And
Well, there's always that saying, if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life, which there's days where I'm doing something I love that I still hate doing it, but for some reason I still love it. I don't huge contradiction, but it ends up like I, I have like bad anxiety when it comes to public speaking and things like that. So I started a
right,
podcast. I don't like I get all these nerves and anxiousness prior to when it starts, but once I start going and I'm having a beer, I love it. And by the time it's over, I feel super satisfied when I put out these episodes and things like that. It's really weird. It's a weird balance I go through during the day prepping for a show to afterwards when I'm in a great spirits again. And I don't know,
right.
makes me feel like I've accomplished something.
Gotcha. I totally get you on the anxiety front. I have anxiety too, sometimes really bad. But when I overcome it, or when like I'm in like a social gathering, or at events, especially events, when I get going, I get going. Like people who know me, like I'll talk to everybody. I'll talk everybody up. I don't care at that point. Like, this is me, Tim. Hey, how are you doing? This is great. That's great. Who are you? Where are you from? I don't mind talking people up. I love meeting new people. So many
Well,
people have different stories and different backgrounds, and they do different businesses. It's just amazing to listen to all of them and to
yeah, and
learn.
again, that's one of the reasons I started the podcast. I love sitting at the bar, having some drinks, and just start talking to the person next to me and hearing, "Holy shit, this guy's from this place. He's done this," and wow,
Yeah.
you just get in that kind of role, and that's super fun. But let me see if I've got this straight, because I tried to write down the groups that you started to try to keep track of them outside of Tim's Kitchen.
Okay.
So let me see if I've got this right. So the 518 related Facebook groups and pages. So we got 518 Brews, of course, which is almost at 10,000 members, which is mind-boggling. that
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
that is a
I'm
lot of people.
surprised.
So there are 518 Wines, 518 Restaurants, 518 Business Network, and 518 Great. Is that all of them? Did I miss anything?
There's Inspired Home Cooks.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, that's a new one that's gaining popularity. So that's a spin-off of Tim's Near Kitchen, because I always tagged myself as an inspired home cook. It's like, well, a group of inspired home cooks would be great. So like share recipes that you learned from family, and I'm trying to promote that family and hand-me-down heirloom recipe aspect. Um, a lot of people are sharing family recipes, in all different types of recipes in general, but I really love that group. Um, it's taking on a following, and it's continuing to grow.
Awesome. I need to get into cooking more, like, because I eat the same stuff over and over. I mean, my freezer's full of easy stuff, of course, but then I always tell myself I'm gonna cook something this day, and then I get sidetracked. I'm like, it's too late. It's too much work. But I'm trying to be better, or at least trying to eat a little better and prepare some better foods for myself. And you
Gotcha.
have just taken a quick look at your blog again today. Just some amazing pictures. Like the roasted potatoes looked awesome, and you have some great recipes on there. So I gotta find that Facebook group and join that so I can try to get some inspiration here.
Okay, awesome. But yeah, a lot of these groups that I started, I didn't start them all alone. I had a lot of help from friends and just people having my back. The local community really had my back or has my back, and I wouldn't be where I am today without them. Um, I did not do this alone. I just want to stress that. I do put a lot of energy in it, yes, and I get up every morning, yes, but without that support, I wouldn't be anywhere.
Oh no, and yeah, I see of making me hungry. Aaron says in the comments, I need to join that as well. Yes, you do, buddy. Yes, you do. Yeah, I who are the other main people behind these groups? I think Car Clark, right? Is she a big
Yeah. So
name?
she has been my admin from the get go, my side admin.
Shout out to these other, of course, important people as well. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. But she was there with me in the beginning of 518 Brews, 518 Wines. She was like, oh yeah, it's great ideas. Let's do it. And I'll always appreciate her for that. And 518 Great was actually her idea. Um, and that's one of my favorite groups. Actually, it is my favorite group because
Oh wow.
we both spread positivity and kindness in the capital region, and charitable things and things that help the community are very important to me, and they're important to her as well. So
That,
that's her baby. She started that. That was her idea, and I said, sure, let's do this. Let's knock this out of the park. We're doing
that's
good.
I'm glad you brought that up because I mentioned you seem like one of the hardest working social media people I've seen, but you also seem online like one of the kindest, nicest people I've seen on there.
Thank you.
But not that the bar's very high for online behavior, but
Right.
but between the
I'm not perfect by any means.
but
I have
between
my
the I
days.
mean yeah, but between the creation of that group and just the charitable causes we try to raise money for with 518 Brews, which is awesome. You're doing some amazing stuff for the community.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm just just trying, and if I can make a difference any way I can, I'm gonna try. And like when ever since I was young, I didn't have the best of everything, but I always promised myself if I ever got into a position to do good for people, I'm going to do it. And I feel very strongly about that, and I'll forever feel strongly about that. If you have the opportunity to help people and you have a voice, let it be heard. Help those people that need help, and you know, be the difference, and you know, um, be an influence, and tell people or like rub off on people and say, hey, I can do this too. Just think of just a quarter or a half more of the world population thought that way. And not that everybody doesn't think that way, but if more people thought that way, how much of a difference we would all make.
Yeah, that'd be certainly a different world.
Yeah.
Peter Bow has joined the group yelling, "Yo, hey Peter, how's it going?
Hey,
Thanks for
Peter,
watching, man."
that's my man.
He says, "Where's my beer?" I don't know. Don't you make them?
Yeah.
But tell me about how 518 Brews got started. It seemed like one day I got the invite or found it. Next thing I know, there's thousands of members. So, I mean, how did the 518 Brews come about?
Okay, so I got the idea of 518 Brews from a similar group, 518 Foodies. I saw the good that they were doing with food, so I was like, hey, I'm going to start a beer group. Because I was heavy at the time, more heavy in the bar scene than the food scene. I was hanging out with a lot of brewers at the time. It's like, you know what, this is a great idea, and I'm gonna go for it. So I went for it. I created 518 Brews, and I started posting beer pictures and stuff to it, and I started inviting friends. I started messaging friends, word of mouth, say, hey, spread the word, help me out. We could do a lot of good with this group, and yeah, it just started, and it started snowballing. And I love it that we're supporting craft brews and bars in and around the 518 area, um, especially because of COVID. What happened with COVID? now is the time more than ever to support these bars and breweries, and post your pictures and tag the place that you're at, because excuse me, other people in the group will see that, and it would entice them to go check these places out.
Yeah, man.
Uh, yeah, yeah. So I love drinking beer. I love people. So why not create a group about it?
That's all. I mean, are you surprised by how quickly this kind of took off and how many members have joined already?
To be honest, I'm not surprised uh, of that it took off. I am surprised how fast it grew, but I know I am a hard worker. As you know, we talked about this. I get up every morning, and I have a vision, and my mind's full of ideas all the time. Sometimes too many ideas. um, but I just love what I do, and I don't want to waste my mind. I don't want to waste all the ideas that I come up with or help people with. And I know again, I could do a lot of good with all these groups that I help manage. So they're important to me. And like I said before, previously, um, yeah, they're helping me do what I love, and that in turn is going to help my business and continue to do what I love.
Yeah, that's awesome. Um, I mean, we talked about you constantly raising funds for like with through 518 brew events and all kinds of various things. The latest one I saw a post on the 518 brews page yesterday. New the first 518 brews brew, right? The Give Back
Yes,
IPA.
yeah, the Give Back IPA. It's
What's the story behind this project and how it came about?
so I was looking for a way to do something good. I made some changes with the group. I brought on some local brewers as moderators because I thought it was fitting to have some breweries involved in 518 Brews. Um, so in group chats, I was chatting away with them, and I threw the concept out there. It's like, hey, let's do a beer collab and let's support some charities while we're doing it. So I was already supporting LLS, the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, and I suggested them, and I asked the team over admins and mods, who else should we support at this time? And the subject of struggling musicians came about. I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely behind that. Let's do that too. And I know a lot of local musicians need help right now
Yeah.
because they can't play live anymore, and they can't get that audience that they're used to getting and donations. So luckily and thankfully, we have Proctor's support on that effort, and they're going to help us collect the donations for and manage the donations for the fundraising of local musicians.
Awesome.
Yeah, and the local upstate New York, Vermont chapter of LLS, Leukemia Lymphoma Society, is supporting this initiative as well.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So again, I'm very thankful to have so many good team members on my team, Go Team, and I'm so thankful to have all these organizations and breweries having our back, which is great.
Was gonna say there's some great breweries involved with the Give Back IPA. Fort Orange, Indian Ladder, Wolf Hollow. I'm certainly familiar with all three of those. Stump City, I know of. I haven't had a chance to taste any of their stuff, but I've heard great things about them too.
Yeah, they're a great place. I had my first taste of some city at Wolf Hollow while we were brewing the beer. Um, Matt Sherman from Stump City brought some for us to try, and the Scotch Ale is delicious. Um, yeah, I highly recommend the Scotch Ale, and yeah, great people. Definitely check them out.
But yeah, definitely check all those places out. In fact,
Yeah,
I want to
everybody.
make a trip out to Fort Orange. It's been a while since I've been out there. I used to live in Manans. I live in Niskayuna now, so it's a much farther drive. So I don't get out to the Albany places as much, which is why I have to rely on the local beverage centers a little more. But I need to take a trip out to Fort Orange and stock up.
Yeah, Fort Orange also a great brewery.
Yeah. But I mean, I love the 518 Brews group, not just because of course the pictures of beer and the drinking memes are fun and stuff like that, but the collaboration or the types of people that are members makes it really great, because it's not just the people, your average beer drinker. Some might say alcoholic. I don't, but but I mean, you were able to, like, brewers, industry people, bar people are all members in the group too. So it's like a who's who if you're looking for recommendations and information too, which is awesome.
Right. Yeah, yeah. And I love how it's mixed. The audience is mixed like that. And part of the what I wanted to make out of this group is I wanted it to be open to everyone, to be friendly, to invite people in to the New York State craft brew industry who aren't typically into the industry, to see it from the outside in and to be enticed and welcomed into the brew community, because sometimes people can be afraid to try new things. Sometimes people want to stay safe on the outside looking in. And I think I'm laying the foundation and helping to lay the foundation to bring people from the outside in, and in turn get more people to show up at these bars, more people to show up at these breweries, and to ease certain people's minds that it is safe, that we are a friendly community, that people working together can do great things.
Michelle Lupe joined the group and asked what we're drinking. Hi, Michelle. Thanks for checking it out.
Hi,
I'm
Michelle.
drinking Whitman Brewing. I Can Hear America Singing New England IPA.
I am drinking a artisanal BB Brown Ale.
BB Brown.
BB
And
Brown.
I will be drinking some artisanal later on Popcorn and Pints, because I have a fridge full of it, so I'm excited about that. I've got their Palmerton Pale Ale, which I haven't tried yet, so I'm looking forward to that, but I've heard great things, and some of their Welcome Home IPA in the fridge. So tune into Popcorn and Pints. I might be a little sloppy. Hopefully I'm not. I'll probably have some coffee later, dinner. So, but
Hold it together, Chris. Come on. Do it
yeah,
for me, please.
Tim's got me very positive. Aaron says, I love Tim's positivity. You got me day drinking. And like I said, this was earlier than I had planned on starting. So we'll see. But I mean, yeah, the beer group's great. And it's the same thing with the wine group, which, I'm not as familiar with all the local wineries. I, of course, know a couple. I've been to one or two. And I've been meaning to pick up some wines, because it's been a while since I've actually had any wine. I'm more familiar with the wineries up in the Thousand Island area, because my family will go up there in the summer for random vacations, particularly the Thousand Islands Winery and Coyote Moon. Those are two of my favorites up in New York State wineries.
Gotcha. I've never been to either. I myself am trying to learn more about wine and wines. I started the group in an effort to do that, and I actually started working with shout out to Altamont Vineyard and Winery. I handle their social media, so I am learning more with the help of them and their support, and group members' support of people posting their wine. I'll see every day, and I'll say, "Hey, oh, this looks like a great wine. I should try that sometime." Or I'm learning what wine goes with what kind of food, and I'm learning what wines are sweet, what wines are dry. Um, yeah, just like little things. And another goal of 518 Wines is to try to take away that what's the word? Um, not feeling, but that notion that you have to know so much about wine to be in a wine community. I'm trying
Yeah,
again to bring people from the outside in, who everyday wine drinker who drinks the expensive wine to the boxed wine.
I'm I'm not gonna lie, I'm not that far removed from finishing a box of wine and taking the bag out and putting the box on my head and running around. I mean, I think we've all been there.
I've never put the bag on my head.
Haven't done the bag on my head. We've taken the bag out and walked around with it in groups and drank from the bag of wine, and then just
Okay.
had the box on our head like a hat.
Okay. Okay.
Michael Hajnicki, the Spa City Brew Bus. Hey there, guys. Hey, Mike. Thanks for checking in. Thanks
Hey,
for watching. I
Hodge.
appreciate it. Elitism, Michelle says.
Yes, Michelle.
But I mean, I get what you're saying with the wine. Depending on the type of the group of people drinking wine, it can feel a little snobbish if you want to drink wine but don't know anything about it.
Right, and it makes people feel uncomfortable. And I'm trying to welcome people who want to feel comfortable drinking wine. Um, like all my groups, I want people to feel comfortable. I want people to feel welcome, feel like family.
I definitely recommend. You can find the Thousand Island Winery stuff in a lot of the local places, and I know from experience, it's walking distance from the campsite that my uncles bought. So, when I'm desperate enough,
I'll have to check
but
them out.
yeah, it's good stuff. I'm hoping again, once the COVID clears up and travel is more open freely, taking a road trip up there. I love to do podcasts all over there. There's wineries right on the Canadian border for anyone that's not aware of the Thousand Islands. Basically, go to Syracuse and then just go north until you hit the border. But the number of wineries up there, a couple breweries. There's a Woodboat Brewery that has some good beers.
Okay.
There's another one, Cape Vincent Brewing up there. That's really good. All in a general area. So I'm hoping to take a road trip, if not late this summer, in the fall, depending on how things are looking, and knocking out a bunch of podcast episodes. That's one of my goals for the show.
Great. I think that would be fun for you.
Take it on the road, man.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. If you remember, just if you go to these wineries or breweries, just tell them about 518 Brews and Wines, and I want them all to be able to share in the groups and share their products and stuff. Just because it's labeled 518 doesn't mean it has to stay exclusive to 518.
No, and that's another thing I like about the 518 Brews. There's pictures of all kinds of beer stuff I've never seen or heard of before. So yeah, I mean, there's a local focus, but it's great for beer knowledge all around, which is really cool.
Right.
Peterbow, Great Flats has Thousand Islands wines. Awesome. Yeah. So you can find the Thousand Island wines you can find around. I've also seen a lot of, there's a couple distilleries up there, Clayton Distillery, St. Lawrence Distillery, because it's right on the St. Lawrence River. I think Green Wolf Brewing had some St. Lawrence spirits from that distillery last time I was out there.
I love Green Wolf.
Green Wolf is great, man. I did a show out there with Matt and Caleb, and what I've come to love about, and I haven't been out there in a long time, and I regret that, but it's a little bit of a drive. So
that's what I like about it. For me, that's why I like about it, because I want to get away from the city every once in a while.
No, it's great, and they're in their own little village. There's a great Italian place right across the street you can get a pizza from, which we did. But one of the highlights of Green Wolf, I thought, was they have a more unique beer selection than you would find at a lot of breweries. Like, they don't have IPAs, but they have a great variety of all kinds of other stuff.
Yeah, they do have good variety, and I love how it's laid back. When I went there, I've been there once to see Caleb, especially.
Yeah, Caleb's great.
Yeah, he's a great dude. And I love the chill vibe that brewery had. They were spinning soul music, and it was a nice open space. I was feeling good that day. I had a nice drive. I got away, and I highly recommend that place. Just definitely go to Green Wolf.
I'm waiting for the weather to get a little better so I can get a pizza from across the street and bring it over and sit outside again. I'm not a winter guy. I don't like the winter.
No, I love the snow.
You know what? As long as it's not on the roads, I can live with it. Like, if it could snow everywhere but the road, sure.
Gotcha. Like, I could do without like below zero temperatures. Come on, who likes below zero? Or
honestly,
near zero.
Honestly, the worst part's the wind, man. People talk about the cold, but it's never feels as cold as it is unless it's super windy.
Right.
It's just a nightmare out there when it is.
Right.
By the way, I like the beard.
Thank you.
I'm trying to regrow mine a bit. I'm in that awkward 2 to 3 week stage where I'm like, I should shave this because it looks awful. But in 2 weeks from now, I'll be glad that I didn't.
Yeah, like if I was to shave my beard, like I try to keep it like crispy and clean. I don't want it too long, too scruffy. I want it crispy and clean. But if I was to shave my beard, I would have such a baby face. I already have a baby face now. If I was to shave this, I'd look 21, 22.
Me
I
too,
get
man.
carded more than
Especially
I'm getting carded now.
especially since I just got a haircut. I mean, I was using my college ID at least 10 years after for like movie discounts after I was done with college. Like I would just shave. I look exactly the same as I did 20 years ago at this point. And honestly, I didn't even start growing a beard a couple times until the last year or two. I'm like it,
Gotcha.
the pandemic hit. I'm like, who gives a shit what anybody looks like anymore? It's like,
I couldn't. I personally couldn't grow a beard for the longest until maybe like 6 years ago. It's like, wait a minute, what is all this stuff filling in? Where did this come from?
yeah, mine again. I need to get at least a month in before I can get anything respectable because it's nowhere near as full as I would like it to be.
Uh-huh.
Like I'm Irish and my dad has Native American blood in him, so something about the combination apparently prevents me from growing a really nice full beard.
Gotcha.
Let's
Gotcha.
see. James Guynup chimes in. Oneonta, New York has some good breweries and wineries. They do. I want to do the Coopertown Beer Trail. That would be great.
Yeah,
I
that'd be
haven't been out
nice.
to Oneonta in a long time. I would go out there and visit some friends. Michelle, highly recommended. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll add it to our list, though. I'll add it to my
Yeah.
list.
I'm not sure what's out there. Like I said, I haven't been out there since I've had friends in college. And I remember taking one trip out there. I went to a class with a friend of mine at the time just because I had nothing. It's not like I had anything to do. I would just be
Yeah.
sitting in the dorms waiting. So I went to the class and I remember that they had a pop quiz that day. So the teacher handed out papers. I ended up with one and I didn't fill out the name, but I filled out all kinds of ridiculous answers because it was short answer pop quiz. I can't remember everything I wrote. It was history related. And I remember writing on one line, the fact that there's an answer to this question boggles my mind. And my paper got turned in with the rest of them.
Oh, wow.
So my friend calls me a week later. She's like, the teacher deducted points from everyone's quiz because the teacher didn't know who did that.
Oh, man.
So I was that asshole apparently.
Always one of them.
Apparently.
Damn, Chris.
Peter Bow, Cooperstown is the best. 6 breweries, I think. That's a lot of breweries. Well, I mean, Amigane's out in Cooperstown. No, is that Amigane territory?
Yeah.
Cooperstown.
Yeah. It's like,
Okay.
yeah. Oneonta, I want to try that cold pizza. I hear so many good things about that cold pizza.
I remember having
The
awesome
cold
pizza.
cheese pizza.
Oh, okay. I
I forget
remember
what it's
having awesome
called.
pizza,
I'll
but
have to
that
look it
wasn't
up.
it. I'm more proud of you, Chris. Thanks, Aaron. I don't know what you're proud of, but thank you. My buddy Aaron. So, I mean, we talked about the 518 group a bit earlier, and I've seen just the stories I've seen posted in this group have almost brought a tear to my eye occasionally. And it's an amazing group. And I have to admit, the animal stories catch my attention sometimes more than the human.
Yeah, they catch my eye too, and a lot of the stories are touching. Um, they're cute, especially the animal ones. In like in people who are overcoming obstacles, like children or adults, seniors are that overcome COVID, or I've seen stories of people overcoming cancer and cancer treatments on the group. I've seen people um, uh, doing heroic efforts being posted on that group. So there's a lot of uplifting and touching stories on 518 Great. And also, there's a lot of people who ask or that are in need who ask us for help or ask the group for help. And I'm glad that people feel comfortable doing that because uh, us group members, most of us have great hearts and we'll go above and beyond just to help one another. And I think it's a wonderful thing.
No, that's great because I mean, it's hard to find that stuff, especially these days, obviously with the pandemic and, just the mention of the word politics sets people off. So it's great to see
Yeah.
stuff like that. Do you have any pets?
Unfortunately, no, because I
No?
can't have pets in my apartment. But I
Oh,
do
okay.
want pets. I really do want pets. I used to have pets. I used to have a dog. I used to have, growing up, a German Shepherd Husky mix, and he had one blue eye. His name was Kojak. He had
Oh
one blue
man.
eye and one brown eye. And Yeah, he was full of energy, and he was a fun dog to have. I
I'm
had cats growing up. Um, I had an iguana at one point.
You
So
had an iguana. How was
yeah, yeah. When I was a teenager, I had an iguana named Iggy.
Iggy? Nice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And um, yeah, I've had pets in and out of my life. Um, but my cat, I don't want to bring up sad stories. My cat died from leukemia, and
Oh,
my dog had to be put down because of an incident when I was younger, like in my early 20s. But I haven't had a pet since. But I do when I get my next apartment, or if I buy a house anytime soon. That's when I'm gonna definitely get a pet.
yeah.
I
My
love animals.
girlfriend. Yeah, my girlfriend and I. We had two beagles. One of them passed away almost 2 years ago. Both rescue beagles. One from Mohawk Humane Huts in Menands. We named him Heath. He was awesome. It was lazy. It was great. Beagles are definitely one of my favorite breeds. But in the future, I'd love to have a husky. I don't know. I just love the look of them for one thing. But and now we have our other beagle Australian Shepherd mix, Zoe, who I post. Well, I'll post a picture of her every once in a while as the
Uh
mascot. Uh, there was the one time I just put empty beer cans all around her while she was passed out and just posted a picture of that. That was pretty fun.
huh.
But yeah, pets are great, man. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like when Heath passed away, our boy Beagle, that was more from old age and health issues and stuff. But one thing I recommend is pet health insurance. As dumb as that sounds, that pet health insurance is a way to go.
I could imagine. Yeah, vet bills can be high. They can be high,
Yeah.
and it's unfortunate that they are. But just like medical bills, they skyrocket as well for humans.
Yeah, man,
But
they really can. But yeah, so if you're getting pets, pet insurance is the way to go.
okay, noted.
That's my recommendation at least. So I had some more notes on Tim's Kitchen, but I think we talked about a lot about that. Tell me, I mean, you mentioned you came from a large, like multicultural family and everything like that. And I mean, what was the impact from that on you? Just
Oh, massive.
yeah.
I've had people in my family, like for instance, I'm multiracial myself. So like I never knew exactly what I was until I did um my ancestry test.
Did
But
you
I
do
knew
like the 23andMe thing?
yeah, but through ancestry.com,
Oh, okay.
I knew one side of my family what I was, but I didn't know my father's side. Because I only met my father once in my life. But yeah, so I'm part Irish, Polish, uh, different types of African. Um, I have English in me, British. Yeah, just I have some Swedish, and my last name Walton actually comes from, this is a historic fact, from the Walton plantation in Virginia.
Oh, wow.
My grandfather Walton moved up here in the early 1900s and met my grandmother Gertrude Dobson, and they met in Schenectady, and that's the family that comes from the Middleburg and Skenevis area.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have on that side of the family African American, Native American roots.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
but see, I didn't get Native American blood in my test results, but my cousin did. He got 1%, and I didn't get any. So I
That's
think it comes from the
funny.
father, because
That's
I
funny.
that lineage comes for me comes from my mother, but my cousins, my uncle had my cousin, so from in the family. So I think he got that 1% from my uncle.
That's funny because I did the 23andMe thing, and like all the Irishness and European stuff came through from like my mom's side, and my dad's Native American, has some Native American heritage, and that didn't really show up at all.
Right.
I'm like, so of course the immediate joke was, well, is he really your dad? I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah, the actual Native American tribe that's in my family is Mohawk. So
Yeah, my dad was Cherokee. That was,
Cherokee. Okay.
yeah. But I'm like, probably, I'm kind of, since it didn't show up in the report, it's probably a good thing I wasn't checking the minority boxes all the way through those college applications and everything.
But yeah, going back to the culture being an influence, Yeah, so I come from a mixed race background. So are most of my a lot of my cousins, and we're just a melting pot and family members, and not to mention the people in my neighborhood. So we had a lot of Puerto Rican influence, Guyanese, Italian. I grew up on Hamilton Hill in Schenectady.
Oh
I
wow.
was born and raised on Schenectady Street.
Yep.
Um, and yeah, just different cultures, German, uh, like I said, Italian, you name it, Irish, everybody.
Let's see.
And I
My buddy Aaron
learned.
says you see the world different being multiracial. Yeah, absolutely, man. It's but in a so much better way because there's so many viewpoints and so much more to learn, I
Right.
think.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So I benefited from all of that, and learning from my family and different families, and going back to the food thing. I was very exposed at a young age to multicultural food. And like I said in an earlier interview, I would ask questions all the time. I was always curious of how things were done. And I've always had a curious mindset. When I was young, I still have a curious mindset, but when I was young, I was the type of person to take things apart and to see how they work and
Yeah.
then put them back together.
Curious Tim, not Curious George.
That's how I learned computers. When I got my first computer, I couldn't afford to get it repaired and fixed, so I took it apart on my own and learned how to put it back together.
No, and I mean, back when I had a desktop, I built it myself. So I got into computers and learning to build them because I thought that was the best way to, it was super interesting. I'm not as into that now. I mean, did you go to
Right.
school for anything
Yes.
in
Well,
particular?
I never graduated, but I went to school for computer science in the early 2000s, and then I got picked up by GE, and I was an intern for 6 months, and it turned into a 3-year internship.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I was a part of their risk management team, and I would do web design and all of their digitization process at the time. For at the main plant, I used to work in building too.
Okay.
Um, but before that, I got into building computers on my own, repairing them. I was the guy to call uh, to repair the computer in the family. There's always that one guy in the family.
Oh yeah.
Um, then after a while, with my background, I took programming in college um, and such, and actually went back to school briefly for networking courses, so I could administer a Cisco network grade switch. I know how to do routing. I know how to do. I'm actually a certified Unify wireless engineer.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I worked for Proctor's as the assistant director of IT for the last 10 years, and they actually sent me to a training course in Boston, and they also sent me to a couple of events in Chicago for Microsoft Office 365. So I was very heavy and big into Office 365 when they first got started. So
Yeah,
I have a well-rounded IT background.
I took yeah, I have my associate's is computer science, my bachelor's is in communications, but I took the Cisco test back in high school or that following year. I think I failed it by like 50 points. It scored out of 1,000, and I think you needed like 800 or something like that at the time, and I think I got like 750.
Yeah,
And I never took.
Cisco's very strict.
Yeah,
And
and I didn't take it again. I got my A plus certification at one point for like building the hardware side, and then I never really did anything with that. I don't like. I ended up going from the community college I got the associates from to SUNY Albany, which I didn't really enjoy my time at SUNY Albany. Not that it's not a good school, it just wasn't for me. It wasn't a good fit.
right.
So I ended up at St. Rose under the communications program, which was so much better for me. And really enjoyed my time there. Got into communications. Ironically enough, I don't really doesn't really apply to my job. I work for the government. I edit manuals that Navy sailors use on submarines for training.
Okay.
So it doesn't really apply much to what I've learned from what I've taken from there to that, but it actually applies more to the podcast. Ironically enough, the last class I took was a radio class, so that's kind of like where I learned some basic editing skills and everything like that.
That's wonderful. Yeah, and like
So
life takes you different directions.
yeah.
You never know where you're gonna end up. Um, and yeah, like with proctors, I've always been into technology, like I mentioned before, and I always been into art. I've always appreciated art. I used to take art appreciation courses. I used to draw a lot when I was young. I used to paint. Um, and I just love different artists and cultures. And when I do travel, I try to appreciate that. I'll go to museums, and I love seeing stuff in person that I used to see in textbooks. I'm like, oh, look at that, look at that.
It's so much, yeah, so much more interesting than seeing it in the textbook.
Right, right, right. It's like I remember this.
Aaron, my buddy Aaron says, "Hey Tim, I might reach out to you about my HDMI not working on my laptop, man." Okay. But
Oh, I can repair Macs and PCs. I can rip
there you
apart a
go. All right.
Mac or a PC.
There you go, Aaron. But so now were you laid off from Proctor's? Is that what ended up happening prior
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
okay.
Because of COVID. Yep.
Yeah.
But it turned out to
So
be a blessing in disguise.
yeah, let's talk about Paladin Media, the social media marketing company you've created.
Yeah, so Paladin Media LLC is a social media marketing company that gives marketing services for small businesses who do not require a full-time social media marketing manager. So I started out with a few clients, and it's going very well. Uh, all my clients have seen steady growth over the past couple months. I just brought on a new team member, so now we're taking on web design and web development
I saw that.
jobs. Yeah, yeah, and SEO request, and it's just going to continue to grow from here. I'm just happy and fortunate that life did throw me a curveball and kind of forced me to get out of the nest, to get out of my comfort zone, because now sky's the limit, and I'm going to continue to grow and remain positive every day and wake up every morning with my best foot forward.
That's awesome, man.
Thank
How'd you
you.
end up settling on the name?
Oh, Paladin. So a paladin is French, and it's known for a person of noble and chivalrous acts.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, and I was like, that.
I was thinking of the fantasy realm RPG games and tabletop stuff, but yeah.
No, 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 and that represents what part of me and what I like to do for my groups. I love doing charitable and noble acts, and also the logo Paladin. It's it's the knight on the horse, and it conveys action. And the paladin is going to give your action to your business and help it grow.
Nice. I like
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah,
That
and
works.
yeah, and if you look at my Facebook page in Paladin Media, you'll see a palace in the cover, and that's the Palace of Versailles in France, which
Oh
I
wow.
visited in 2019, and I'll never forget it. And you'll see my cover photo, my personal cover photo. There's the Eiffel Tower, and that I put that there to give me inspiration to wake up every morning and say, I want to go back and see this in person again.
Yeah, like I said, man, once the travel restrictions kind of loosen up and it's safe, like my bucket list is mainly traveling. That's that's pretty much all of what it is. To
Yeah,
just get out there and see everything I can.
yep. Life is short.
Because there's it's probably 50-50. I mean, this pandemic thing can obviously happen again. It'll probably happen again at some point in the future. I mean, there's a lot of undiscovered diseases out there, so no one should be surprised 50 years down the line, longer, shorter, whether that it happens again. So you got to live life while you can.
Got that right. Yeah.
So you blog, you started these Facebook groups, you started your social media company. I assume you get tired of looking at screens at some point
Yeah, I do.
and need to do other stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So um, I need to break away every once in a while. I kind of stopped checking my phone every 5 minutes. And so now I wait like 15, 20 is to start. um, yeah, so I need to find that balance, which I'm trying every day. And it's just hard to let go. Um, But yeah, I need to find that balance because it's not good for my health, and I know that. And people who care about me a great deal have expressed that to me,
I mean, I
and
know
make those
just
changes.
from trying to run social media accounts for the podcast and trying to promote the podcast, I'm like, this is easily a full-time job. I'm like, I mean, I have my own Twitter account that I use, my personal one, basically to follow some music and news and sports stuff. But trying to use it to promote a brand, a name, a business, I'm like, man, it's constant stuff. Like, so at least with the podcast accounts, I mainly only end up posting stuff on the weekends because that's when I'm free. And fun side note, if anyone out there sees me posting a lot of stuff at once, I'm probably drinking. So
Fair warning.
that's a safe bet. But yeah, I can't imagine basically taking on that responsibility for multiple people, especially now that you know I'm part of the Popcorn and Pints podcast, so I started a Twitter for that for our group, the Z Network, which we're trying to do for content creators and grow that. So it's a lot of social media stuff to keep track of. So I can easily see the full-time job just behind that aspect, on top of everything else that can go with it, of course.
Right, right. So I have the groups and the accounts that I manage, but every account is allocated a set amount of hours per month to for me to manage, for my business to manage, which gives me some wiggle room. But people people like think I'm constantly on. Like I'm on, but I am so, because of my IT background of being an assistant director for the last 10 years, I am so fast with like my gestures, my eye screen coordination is so fast. It just like blows my mind, and it blows people's minds, that how I can do things so rapidly. Every morning I'm just like rapid fire because I'm so used to coming into the office and looking at all these help ticket requests, and um, I know how to just juggle um, one thing or another so just very quickly, and I'm just a natural at it because I'm hard grained and learned it over the years. So what may take like 10 minutes for one person to do, I'll put it out in 5 to 3 minutes or less because my coordination's so fast. My mouse gestures on my pad are so fast. Uh, my like for a computer term, my refresh rate is fast.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah. So may seem like a lot is really a little to me. Not to boast, but it feels that way.
No, man, I get it. I get it. I think, all right, I think that's probably good for the live stream. I do have one question to end up closing things out here. Super Bowl prediction, since that's tomorrow.
Kansas City.
You're going with Kansas City.
Going Kansas City.
I won't have the audio posted before the Super Bowl happens, so this people will have to watch the video to find these out. But I think I'm with you. I think I'm leaning towards Kansas City.
Okay.
I honestly don't have a preference between the two teams. I'm a Giants fan, so it hurts to just see them do as poorly as they do. But
right. See, like I respect Brady as a quarterback, being his age, right? But
I can absolutely respect him, but it doesn't mean I want him to win.
I don't want him to win either because I'm a Colts fan. And
oh, yeah, that's right. I've seen you post about that.
Yeah. So they stole the Super Bowl from us. Deflategate.
Well, let me ask you this: What were your thoughts? What were your thoughts on Eli winning it in Indianapolis? Then
it was.
It's the next best thing.
It was Peyton's brother, so like I couldn't feel that bad. Like, I know, exactly. I felt bad, but I didn't feel that bad.
Exactly,
that was his brother.
Almost like cheering for the home team.
Right. Plus, yeah, like I support your teams when I'm not cheering on my group, my team. So
my buddy Aaron says not watching it, done with football until next season, but rooting for the Bucks. He's a Niners fan, so he's never happy.
Okay,
he's never happy.
Yeah.
He's certainly not going to be rooting for Kansas City after last year. I'm sure of that.
I bet.
So I think that's a wrap for Stories from a Virtual Bar Live, friend. I think this was another great success.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. This was fun, and I'd like to do it again sometime in the future.
Absolutely. We'll have to have you back on. I'm working on setting up more live streams, so everyone out there, keep an eye on the Stories from a Bar Facebook page. Like I said, I'm going to try to do something like twice a month. I've already got my next guest lined up. I haven't announced it yet. I think a friend put a spoiler out there, but I'm not going to tell you who that is. I'm going to leave that for a little surprise until we get a little closer. So I appreciate everyone out there that, Tim, thanks for hanging out, joining me.
No problem.
Certainly
Thank you so much,
appreciate you
Chris.
taking the time. Busy guy. I appreciate everyone out there for, anyone that hopped on. I think we were up to at least 6 or 8 viewers at one point live. So, and there'll be so many more that catch this at some point in the next couple weeks, and I'll get the audio posted in the next few days or so. But day drinking and chatting's been fun, friend. It's
Yes,
been a
it's
good
been
time.
fun.
So be
Thank you so
sure
much.
to, yes, absolutely. Everyone out there, be sure to like and subscribe to the 518 Brews Facebook page as well as the group. Of course, don't forget about 518 Great Wines, Restaurants, the Business Network. I forgot to mention the Business Network.
Oh yeah, the business network. So that's connecting entrepreneurs and professionals in the capital region. And
There we go.
yeah, and we do a Monday roll call every Monday at noon, and everybody posts their business and skills in the comments. And we have a bi-weekly Zoom meeting that happens on Fridays, bi-weekly at 8 a.m.
Awesome. So people check out those groups. Don't sleep on Tim's New York kitchen. Apparently he's got a big don't call it a comeback moment coming.
That's right.
you
Watch
can
out.
find you can find all of that on Facebook and Instagram, some Twitter, of course. I think that covers everything, right? Anything else you want to throw in?
Just please continue to support our groups and the feeds. We're doing a lot of good for the community in multiple communities, and myself and my team appreciate your support. And thank you.
Awesome. So a huge thanks to everyone out there for checking out the show. You'll find Stories from a Bar on Facebook. Follow the show on Instagram and Twitter at StoriesFAB. And if you're looking for something fun to do on Saturday nights, I've of course mentioned it a number of times. Popcorn and Pints. You'll find our live stream on Facebook on Saturday nights and YouTube, Twitter. It's all over the place. But check out the Popcorn and Pints Facebook page. Check out it's an exclusive to the Z Network, a network for content creators by content creators. So check all that out on Facebook. And you'll find Stories from a Bar pretty much on all your major podcast platforms. We've got Apple, Google, Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, iHeart. Just check them all out. Just find it. You'll find it. It's growing. I've gotten it on all these places. Luckily, it doesn't take a lot of. I just post it to one place and it does everything for me. So it's very easy. So I can get it on all these places. But be sure to like and subscribe. That's the important part. And even more importantly, spread the word, people. Spread the word. So until next time, cheers.
Cheers.